Welcome back
to the VanDyke Show, Episode 4.
Episode 4, another weekend. We're going to break down, me and Levi made some fantasy big boards, fantasy people out there. You can kind of see where our minds are at. We're just go top 10, some honorable mentions, and
Sleepers.
Some sleepers. Got some fantasy MVPs, some guys that might win you a title. I've got a couple of those the last couple years. I mean, Alvin Kamara carried me one year. Cooper Kupp carried me one year. I don't feel like bringing all the trophies out because I don't want to disrespect Levi, you know. But
second place kind of guy.
Yeah, it is what it is. But so yeah, that's kind of what we're gonna hop into today. Not really have much more to talk about than that.
Next episode though, we got a special guest.
Got a special guest next episode. So, Levi put that together. So
tune into that.
Next
episode's gonna be big.
Big episode. And thanks for everybody tuning in now. You know, I mean, people shoot us a text or hey, like this, and so we appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it.
Yep.
And we're gonna keep riding with it.
Might as well.
So,
already here.
What do you want to start with? Do you want to start with the fantasy MVPs, fantasy flops, or
I
you
say
want
we
to go
start
down
with
the big board?
I said we go sleepers and then must-haves.
Okay.
So who's your sleeper this year?
My sleeper this year is Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Okay.
I think he's going to play a predominant role in the slot up there in Seattle. I think DK will draw a bunch of them double teams. Geno had a really good year last year also. So I could see JSN going for probably 80, 60 catches, 1,200 yards, and a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see that for sure.
I got Kadarius Toney as mine. I think he's a receiver 1 out in Kansas City. I mean, yeah, Travis Kelce's the receiver 1, but he's going to get all the doubles.
He's going to get all the doubles.
I think Kadarius Toney got there late last year. I think a full offseason, him and Mahomes get their timing down. I think he could kind of explode. I think he's a solid flex player every single week. So I think that's...
He's a probably solid flex every week, must start.
So
that, and like you said, he got there late in the year last year, so it wasn't like he got that full offseason with Mahomes. And people forget he was a first-round pick.
Yep, he was.
I mean, he was explosive.
I don't think what was it, the Giants versus Saints when he actually went dumb?
Yes. Then he got suspended.
Yep.
Like that next week for some team violation or something along them lines. But yeah, it was Dallas.
Yep.
It was against Dallas. Yep. He had like 180, 200 yards receiving, went dumb, and then ended up getting suspended. Yep. That's exactly what happened.
So yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, I think a whole offseason in that organization with Patrick Mahomes, I feel like definitely.
I mean, Andy Reid's going to get that man some play.
He's going to find him to get him the
ball in his
100%.
Hands.
I mean, he ran the same play in the Super Bowl twice.
Yep.
Just two different sides and touchdown both times. So he ain't afraid to get nobody involved.
One was Sky Moore.
But I mean, it was the same play.
Yeah.
Just opposite sides of the field. Fantasy must-haves. We've been talking about this guy on the pod for a couple weeks now, and mine is Tony Pollard. I mean, we were both big on Tony Pollard. I mean, we both know he did break his leg, but I don't think that's going to change anything. He's going to have a great rehab. I think he's going to come back.
No Zeke, all the carries.
And he finished at the top the last 8 weeks pretty much without Zeke. He was a top 3 running back in fantasy points.
Yep.
So I think Tony Pollard is going to go on a tear this year, and I think he's going to have a big year, especially they're coming in, Dak. I think Dallas will do good. I mean, they get CD some help with Brandon Cooks.
Open up that
offense a little bit. And I think Tony Pollard is just that guy. You just find a way to get him the ball, and he's going to put up points, especially in PPR leagues.
Oh, for sure.
Catches.
I mean, if you're not playing PPR fantasy, what are you playing?
You've been playing PPR. You've been playing fantasy since it began because you ain't playing PPR and you're still in standard leagues. Sorry to the standard people out there, but PPR, even half-point PPR is the way to go.
Yep.
So I think Tony Pollard is my fantasy must-have, and I don't got much more to say about the guy. I think the guy's going to prove it on the field for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's going to come back full strength.
Full strength? I think so too.
My must-have, says it on the hat.
Yep.
I got Bijan Robinson. I think Arthur Smith is going to find every way and every opportunity to get him the ball. In the slot, the backfield, he's going to catch the ball. He's going to run the ball. He's going to have 100-yard weeks.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to have a week where he has 100 yards receiving, 100 yards rushing. I can guarantee you that. He's going to be the focal point of the Falcons' offense, him and Drake London. Hopefully Kyle Pitts comes alive, but I think Bijan Robinson, if you have like a middle-ish pick, 7 or 8, if he's still there, I feel like he's a must-have.
Yeah, and I've noticed probably the last couple years, fantasy running backs are going off the board pretty early.
Oh, yeah.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire was going off the year after the Chiefs drafted him pretty early too.
Yep.
So, running backs I think that position is so valued in fantasy.
Oh, it is, for sure.
But, both our must-haves are both running backs.
You could find a bunch of solid receivers on the free agency list.
I mean, you can find teams that are going to be losing by 40 points.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're going to have to throw the ball. So, but yeah, both of us fantasy must-haves, RBs.
Yep.
It's impressive. I like that. Shout out to the running backs out there for sure. Fantasy flops. I'm going to go Keenan Allen. And it's no hate on Keenan Allen. I know he might be losing a little bit of a step. But I think it's just because he's having that Mike Williams. And then now with Quentin Johnson, I think they're going to take a lot of that from him. But it's no hate on what Keenan Allen has done out there. He's still a dog out there. But I just think these younger guys, I think he's going to mentor them more than anything.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't think he's going to care if they're winning games and he ain't getting all the targets. If Quentin Johnson started getting 13 catches and stuff like that. I still think he's going to be Herbert's go-to on third down.
Oh, definitely.
But I don't know about how much more than that. So I'm going to go Keenan, fantasy flop. No disrespect to him, though, because he's still a guy out there.
I don't know if you could call mine much as a flop. I mean, I feel like it's expected in a way. I mean, Mike Evans is a great receiver, but, I mean, with Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask throwing him the ball.
So hard.
It's so hard to say he's going to go out there and eat. I mean, yeah, you could throw the ball up to him. He's going to go get it. But at the end of the day, they might throw it 6 feet over his 6'5" frame.
I mean, he had the GOAT the last couple years.
Yep.
And before that, he had Jameson Winston, and he didn't care who he was throwing it, what color the jersey was. That man was slinging it around to either team. He didn't give a dang who he was throwing
Threw
to.
just as many picks as he did touchdowns.
That's what I'm saying. So Mike Evans was eating because he was throwing it up. Didn't matter.
He said, Mike Evans down there somewhere.
Yep. So that's funny.
Fantasy MVP, who you got?
Fantasy MVP. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think this guy went on a tear last year. I think he gets another year with Jared Goff. The Lions were playing really good at the end of the year last year. And the guy just plays with the edge on his shoulder. I feel like he goes out there and he's getting his regardless. Sure. So I think Amon-Ra goes big this year. He is their wide receiver 1. He can line up inside. He can line up outside. And I think that's a big reason why they let T.J. Hawkinson go because they knew they had that safety blanket with Amon-Ra. And I think he's going to have a big year, some big point games out of him.
I can see that. I got Breece Hall. I mean, before that man hurt his ACL last year, he was on a tear. I mean, literally.
Literally, yes.
He was a top 3 running back each week in fantasy.
Yep.
He was going to get you 20 to 25 points each week no matter what. You had him in your starting lineup. He was on everyone's list that you was trying to trade for Breece Hall.
I did.
I
traded Justin Jefferson for Breece Hall and Jamar Chase.
So I think Breece Hall is going to win some people some leagues. If you could get him in the 2nd round, 3rd round.
I mean, he might even fall to the 4th.
If you get him in the 4th round, you're winning your league if you draft right.
100%. 100%. Let's go top QBs.
Top QBs.
Get it done pretty quick. I'll start it off, then you can go to the next one.
I think Patrick Mahomes.
Yep, definitely number 1.
We could agree on that.
I mean, he threw for 5,000 something, 4,000, 5,000 yards last year?
Yeah.
Without Tyreek Hill, everybody thought he was going to have a fall off, and the guy goes for more yards and more touchdowns than when he had before.
I think he has to play smarter without Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I think he actually reads that defense more than when he could just throw it down, Tyreek down there somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think Patrick Mahomes, he's still gonna do his thing. He still's got Kelsey, and until they get a dominant running back that's gonna carry the rock 20, 30 times a game, I'm not picking nobody else as QB1 besides Patrick Mahomes.
No, I agree.
But I ain't picking him first round.
No.
Sorry, I'm not doing that. You want to do the next one?
I mean, I kind of jumped to a conclusion with
that
one, but
Josh Allen. We have Josh Allen number 2, and that's if Diggs is there. I mean, me and Levi kind of talked, and we were building the top 10. We both think Diggs is going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, too late for him to leave
at this point. I think he's not going to hold out. I think he's going to come into training camp, kind of get calmed down a little bit, and him and Josh Allen are going to have that connection that they normally have.
I agree with that 100%. I think Josh Allen, I mean, the thing about fantasy is you get in the red zone, he runs for touchdowns too. Yep. That's free 6 points right there.
Exactly. And I mean, there's a couple games he scored like 3 running touchdowns a game.
Exactly.
I mean, he's out there hurdling linebackers and stuff, so you know he ain't afraid to lower his shoulder and get some yards.
Not at all. Number 3, Joe Burrow. I mean, I think him and Allen can really flip-flop. I mean, I think Burrow, we talked about it, has the best receiving core in football.
Yep.
I mean, you got guys like Higgins and Chase, and don't sleep on Tyler Boyd out there every week, and you still just can't stop the pass because you got to worry about Mixon in the backfield. I think that really opens up that whole offense. And I think he's got something to prove. I could see an MVP type season with him.
Yeah, and I think Mixon's kind of a sleeper as like a receiving back. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
He goes out there, he catches the ball on some screens and stuff like that, and he's the only back they have right now.
Just they don't know what's going on with him right now.
I haven't heard nothing. Samaje Perine left in free agency, so Mixon is the go-to there right now.
Yep.
Number 4, we got Lamar Jackson. I mean, the guy has his best receiving core he's ever had there in Baltimore. He still has his safety blanket in Mark Andrews.
Yep.
And the guy is still the fastest guy on the field majority of the time when he's out
sure.
there. I mean, I don't think he's going to be running as much this year, but I do think he is going to get his games where he runs, he gets his touchdowns, and I think he's going to throw for at least 4,000 yards.
I could see that for sure. And, I mean, at the end of the day, if play breaks down, he can still go get you 40, you run out of bounds.
He might even score.
Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, I think he's going to run a lot more in the playoffs, so that doesn't really affect fantasy as much.
No.
But, I mean, he's just a hell of an athlete, and he's going to put up points regardless.
Yep, when he broke the internet on Vine.
Oh, yeah.
When he made that man the Vine of the century.
When he spun against the Bengals.
I'm talking Vines back in the day.
I know.
When he was in high school.
Oh, yeah, when he stopped.
When he stopped on that man and just trounced in there.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yes, that was ridiculous.
That was tough.
But what he did to the Bengals was also disrespectful
spin,
too.
yeah.
That spin, and he scored.
Yeah.
I mean, you post a highlight like that.
Yeah.
As a quarterback.
Looked like he's playing against elementary school.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he was out there on the recess playground.
Yeah, he's out of the playground.
So,
number 5, Jay Herbo, Justin Herbert.
Yep.
I think he's going to go out there. I mean, like you said, Keenan Allen, in a way, he's your flop, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still think adding Quentin Johnson, and I mean, Mike Williams is Mike Williams. He's still going to go throw for yards. He's going to have to put the team on his back. I mean, he always checks it down to Eckler.
Mm-hmm.
Eckler makes people miss.
Yep.
That's a touchdown right there. So,
and
Justin Herbert.
And I think, I do really think Keenan Allen, Kellen Moore coming over.
Oh, from Dallas.
I think this offense is going to be something that we haven't seen from Justin Herbert yet, and I think he's going to throw for big yards. I think we're going to see those deep bombs to Jalen Guyton and even Joshua Palmer.
Yep.
I mean, he was a solid wide receiver for them too last year. So I mean, they have this young receiving core coming up, and I think Jay Herbo is going to be the control of that offense, command that offense, and I think he's going to go for big yards, big points. I think the Chargers are going to be pretty good this year also.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Tough division. But
Tough division. I think they're definitely number 2 in that division. And out of any team that to push the Chiefs in that division, it's going to be the Chargers.
Yep. I don't think Denver's got what it takes.
No, it's going to be the Chargers. So, I mean, there could be a way they get that 1 seed, but they're going to have to win a lot of games, and they can't be losing close games. So that's going to come down to Justin Herbert.
Yep, in the crunch.
And controlling those. Number 6. Who is that up there?
Trevor
Lawrence. I couldn't even read my own writing. That's great. Trevor Lawrence. I mean, we've talked about the Jags quite a bit here. I think he's get Christian Kirk back. He's got Evan Ingram back, but we can't sleep on that man getting Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley is going to change that offense a lot. I mean, he still has his safety blanket and Travis Etienne. They played together for at least 6 seasons now from when their time at Clemson. And I think Doug Peterson knows what to do with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, they came back 27-0 in the playoffs. They made the playoffs. I mean, you both have them as a playoff team.
Had the Chiefs on the ropes.
They really did. Even though Patrick Mahomes was hurt, that don't matter. He had him on the ropes in only his second year.
Yep.
So I think Trevor
Lawrence
is going to take a big jump this year.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely got one of the best arms in football at this point. He's really young. I think the addition of Calvin Ridley is going to really expand that offense.
I do too. And then, I mean, he was a number 1 recruit coming out of high school. So the guy that understands pressure, I think they're going to have a big year.
Number 8.
7.
Jalen Hurts.
I think he comes back again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's always going to run the ball in for touchdowns. He's always going to throw the ball deep to your boy, A.J. Brown, Smitty. So at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts is going to put up points. He's definitely a QB you could probably get in like the 6th, 7th round.
Yep.
And he's going to put up points. You're not going to have too many questions about it.
No.
He's going to have all day to throw with a great O-line. So.
And he's still got Dallas Goedert. Check that down too over there. I think the only way that he kind of comes in at 7 is because you don't know how many yards he's going to pass for in a game.
Yeah.
I mean, that game against the Bears, it was in like late November or early November, late October when he hurt his shoulder that game. Didn't really throw a whole lot. Didn't really put up a whole lot of points after that. So that running could come back to bite him, but I think they're going to throw a little bit more than they're going to run this year.
Oh, I agree for sure. They're going to try to keep him healthy.
Could keep him healthy, make another deep run. I mean, that's my Super Bowl pick right there. So keep that man healthy, please. Number 8, Deshaun Watson.
The massage therapist.
I think, yep. I think he has a full offseason there in Cleveland. I think him and Amari Cooper kind of get on the same page. They go out, they trade for Elijah Moore. I think that was kind of underrated trade.
Underrated trade for sure.
They still got Nick Chubb. They let Kareem Hunt, haven't re-signed him or nothing. So Kareem Hunt's going to get that ball. They're going to be able to run, some read option, some play action, hit the deep bombs. I do think
Amari Cooper's that guy,
Amari Cooper's that guy. He's one of the best route runners in the league, so he's going to find a way to get open. And I think Deshaun has a big year.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I mean, I feel like some people might think 8's a little high for Watson, but
I don't
think so. I think a full offseason is going to completely change. He didn't have a great year when he came back.
I mean, he's almost sat out for 2 years.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Coming back to the NFL, that ain't easy.
I mean, people forget he threw for the most yards in the league before he got suspended?
Yep.
So I thought. Number 9. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's got a new offense. Same old OC, Nathaniel Hackett.
Yep.
I mean, big play weapons, man.
Yep.
He's got Breece Hall and he's got Garrett Wilson. You get the ball in their hands, they're gonna make plays.
Yep.
He's got security blankets like Tyler Conklin and CJ Umaza. I don't know how to say his last name. My bad.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
CJ Uzman's out.
Yeah, something like
that. It's okay, but
Randall Cobb's in the slot. He's gonna trust him.
He's got Alan Lazard there.
Yep.
I mean, they still got Corey Davis. I mean, he was a first-round pick. Hasn't really produced as a first-round pick, but he can still catch the football.
Yeah, Western Michigan guy.
Yep.
Number 10,
Dak Prescott. I think they go out there. They obviously still have CeeDee Lamb. They go out. They trade for Brandon Cooks.
New OC.
I mean, they got Tony Pollard. They let Zeke go. I think Tony Pollard can take a lot of these easy early passes to the house. And, Dak was a different guy before he broke his ankle.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that Dak, before he broke his ankle, was not scared to run. I mean, he comes off a huge injury, so he's been a little timid back there to run. I think he might use his legs a little bit more this year, maybe get down on some plays where nothing's open. And I think Dak has a big year. I think he's gonna have to prove it now. I mean, them Cowboy fans are waiting, and they've waited long enough.
They're getting fed up.
I think Dak has a big year though, so I think they'll be okay.
Honorable mention. Your boy,
Tua Tagovailoa.
Yep. I mean, Tyreek and Waddle, with those two guys, enough said at that point. I mean, he was having an MVP type year before the concussions. He's going to go out there and he's going to sling it. Mike McDaniel said he will pass the ball every play if he really wants to.
Yes, he will. That guy said some things. I like it.
Yeah. Tua's good honorable mention for sure.
Yeah, touch on that a little bit. I mean, they bring back all the running backs with Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert, and then they go draft Devon Achane.
They might get Cook,
and
too.
If they get Dalvin Cook, Tua might hop up there into at least like a top 10, maybe not. His whole thing is just staying healthy.
For sure.
If I knew he was going to play 15 games, he's easily a top 5 fantasy quarterback because he's going to put up points. But I do think that signing of Devon Achane, if they don't get Cook, will make a difference. I mean, the guy's a track star. Just get him a screen.
Yep,
let him go. Let him run.
That
was our top 10 there for QBs. I mean, we can go on to running backs or we can go on to wide receivers.
Let's go on to running backs.
Running backs. Number 1, pretty easy. Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
The guy does it all. He can walk the dog, paint your back porch, and he can pass.
Yeah.
I mean, he can do it all. And I think going to the 49ers was probably the best thing that happened to this guy in his
Kyle
career.
Shanahan knows how to get his running backs the ball in space. I mean, he's turned Deebo Samuel into a running back. I mean, at the end of the day, Christian McCaffrey has a great O-line with so many weapons. He's going to go out there and produce. He's going to get 20 carries. He's going to get 5+ catches. And who knows, he might throw a touchdown.
Yeah, literally.
End of the day.
That's all we got to say about him.
Number 2, Austin Eckler. I mean, I've always slept on the guy, never really wanted to pick him. But at the end of the day, he produces.
Yep.
He scores touchdowns.
Yep.
Catches the ball. If you're in PPR and you have a running back that can go get you 5 catches, there's 5 points, even if it's 20 yards.
Yep.
Who cares?
Nope. I'm with you, dude. I've slept on Austin Eckler. I've slept on him for years, and I'm tired of sleeping on Austin Eckler.
Yep.
If he's available at 5, 6, 7,
He's that guy.
I'm taking him. I really am. I mean, he breaks tackles, and I never understand how this guy can break all these tackles, get all these touchdowns, catch the ball. I've disrespected him, and I'm tired of disrespecting him. Austin Eckler is that guy, and I will definitely have no shame putting him number 2 on our big board whatsoever.
Yeah, no, for sure. Number 3.
Number 3, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
I think Saquon had a huge year last year coming back from his injury. I wasn't really expecting that. I was kind of expecting it the year before, and it was kind of slower, but Saquon had a huge year. I think being in Brian Daboll's system really helped him out. I mean, Daniel Jones kind of took that next leap a little bit, and I mean, the guy was a stud at Penn State.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was the highest running back drafted in the last 5-6 years before that happened, before Zeke got picked.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, Saquon is an extraordinary talent.
I think Brian Daboll helps him a lot.
I do think Brian Daboll really helped him a lot, too.
So, I think Saquon's going to have a huge year for sure.
I do, too.
Number 4, Bijan Robinson.
Yep.
Like I said, that is my fantasy must-have. If you have the chance to get Bijan Robinson, draft that man. He's going to score touchdowns. He's going to catch the ball. And if you're in leagues where you get bonuses for 100-yard games, he's going to have multiple. I don't care if he's a rookie. He is going to be that guy. Look what he did at Texas.
Yep. Honestly, he could have 100 yards receiving and 100-yard rushing in some games.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's going to be
can.
the focal point of that offense. Arthur Smith is going to put him in positions to score touchdowns. Look what he did with Derrick Henry.
Yep.
I think Derrick Henry kind of fell off since Arthur Smith has left.
Yep.
Personal opinion. Team might have got worse. But at the end of the day, Bijan Robinson is going to have a huge year.
And to chime in on that, I mean, I followed Bijan Robinson since it came down to Texas and Ohio State and his recruiting trip. He's a Tucson guy here in Arizona.
Yeah, he's a dog.
So we definitely have had a big eye on Bijan Robinson, especially us being both Ohio State fans. Really wanted him to go there. His buddy on his teammate, Latham Ranson, went to Ohio State. So just to chime in on him, Bijan Robinson is that guy.
For sure.
Number 5, Nick Chubb.
Yes.
I think no Kareem Hunt there. Nick Chubb is great when he was there, so I think he's going to be almost even better this year without Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, unless they bring him back.
I agree.
As of right now, I don't see it happening. But, I mean, they got a great O-line. Kevin Stefanski's offense, they really know how to use Nick Chubb. He came back from an ACL injury and just went on a run after he ended up getting hurt a couple years ago. He was really good at Georgia. I mean, he's always produced in the NFL, too. There's not much more you can say about Nick Chubb.
Browns got a great outside zone scheme. They really get him the ball outside, inside in the red zone as well.
Yep.
I mean, if the ball's inside the red zone, you can damn near expect a Nick Chubb touchdown.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
100%.
Nick Chubb for sure.
Number
6, we've talked about him a lot.
Yep.
I don't know how many times you got to say it. Tony Pollard.
Yep.
I mean, no Zeke. He's going to break out this year.
Yep.
He could turn those screen passes into touchdowns. He's going to be a big point of that Cowboys offense.
Yep.
I mean, I think Brandon Cooks really opens that up. They can't load the box.
Nope.
I mean, they're going to run the read option too, so they can't just key in with the D end. I mean, Cowboys are going to have a big year, new OC.
I think they do good. I mean, Tony Pollard's my fantasy must-have. I mean, we have talked about him. If you guys have listened to any of our podcasts, you know we are both big on Tony Pollard.
Yep.
Find a way to get him.
Yes.
I don't care if you got to trade him after somebody else gets him.
Yeah.
Find a way to get Tony
Pollard's
Pollard.
going to win some
and
leagues.
You know, if Tony Pollard wasn't coming off a broken leg, I'd probably have him 3.
Oh, for sure.
I am not going to lie.
No, I agree with that for sure. I mean, I don't think the broken leg's going to hurt him too much.
No, I don't either.
At the end of the day, they got Tony Pollard and Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah.
So Cowboys are big on Tony Pollard.
Yep. They're ready for him to go for some yards.
Yes, sir.
Number 7, King Henry. I mean, the guy is 6'2", 240 pounds. He's fast. He's hard to bring down. He'll throw you to the ground on a stiff arm. And it gets late in the fourth quarter. Tennessee rides him.
Don't want to tackle him.
No one wants to hit him in the cold. Nobody wants to tackle him. And I think he has a bounce back year. He was a little bit banged up last year. But I think maybe he'll probably sub out like he normally does on third downs. But if it gets in the red zone, he's scoring touchdowns.
I agree with that. I mean, the thing that's hard for me with Derrick Henry is when the Titans start losing and they have to throw the ball, they take him out of the game.
Yep.
I mean, I think they should leave him in for sure. He's just such a focal point of that offense. But when they take him out because they're down 20 points and they got to throw the ball, there's nothing you can do.
No, his fantasy value is kind of plummeted at that
I mean,
point.
if the Titans had a better roster, I mean, their division isn't the greatest.
Yeah, so there's 6 games.
That he could definitely do something.
Yep.
Number 8, big on this guy.
Yep.
Breece Hall.
Yep.
Like I said, before he tore his ACL, he was that guy. He's going to come back.
Yep.
He's going to win people some leagues. And if you could get him in the 4th round, that's a steal.
Yeah, you're probably winning the league if you drafted good in the first 3.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the guy he played 5 games, had 400 and some yards rushing.
Yeah.
5 games.
Exactly.
So if he does anything what he was doing last year, crazy. And you know what's even crazier is He did that with Zach Wilson.
Exactly. Now they got Rodgers back there.
Aaron Rodgers cannot load that box, and because he's going to take some shots.
Exactly.
So I think Brees Hall has a monster year.
I think so too.
Number 9. This guy, some people probably are pretty upset with him. Jonathan Taylor.
I know a guy that's upset with him. His name's Jacob.
Yep, he's not happy with him. I mean, there's probably more than just him. If you picked him number 1 last year, I feel very sorry for you because I had high hopes on Jonathan Taylor also. But I think he bounces back this year. I'm not gonna say he's gonna do what he did previously 2 years ago because he had a great year that year. But the reason we have him at 9 is because me and Levi agreed that I think Anthony Richardson is probably going to take some of his goal line touchdowns away.
Oh, for sure. I mean, even if he doesn't start the first few games, end of the year when he gets in there, they're going to be running zone read. They're going to be running QB draw using Anthony Richardson's big body, similar to how the Panthers used to use Cam, in my opinion.
Yep, I agree. And especially with the Eagles OC coming over to be that head coach for Indianapolis. I mean, you saw what the Eagles did with Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
When Miles Sanders barely had any touchdowns.
Yep.
So, number 10, this guy had a big year as a rookie last year. Kenneth Walker. I mean, I get they drafted Zach Charbonnet late in the draft. I don't think that's really going to matter for him.
I think they added depth for them.
They had a depth, but I think Kenneth Walker, I mean, he had a great year as a rookie last year.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's going to continue that. I mean, the division has two solid teams with the 49ers and Seattle, obviously.
He's playing the Cardinals. He's the number 1 back.
Yeah, he's number 1 back that
2
week.
2 weeks out of the year.
And depending on what the Rams do with Aaron Donald, he might be there too. I mean, they shipped away Jalen Ramsey. Thank you very much. We'll take that.
Bobby Wagner's gone.
Pick. Bobby Wagner's gone. So I think Kenneth Walker has a pretty solid year.
We got 2 honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. I mean,
1 was huge last year. Josh Jacobs. He had a great year last year. Just tough with that offense. I don't know if he could do it again. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo's hurt right now. I mean,
they might cut him. They don't even know what they got going on there.
So, I mean, Josh Jacobs, he could have a huge year. It's just tough knowing his value right now because
you have no idea who the quarterback is.
Exactly. And his year was huge last year. Get rid of Darren Waller as well. So, I mean, that's tough.
And then the other one is Najee Harris. I mean, Najee was a little banged up last year, kind of like Jonathan Taylor, but they don't really have another guy that's going to take Najee Harris' spot over there.
Oh, not at all.
And if Kenny Pickett develops well in his second year, Najee could be a top 5 fantasy back.
Oh, for
sure.
sure.
I mean, he is a stud. He was a stud at Alabama. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. There's not much he can't do.
I think I heard him being banged up last year. So I mean,
he had an ankle and an abdomen injury, but he played every game. So, I mean, kudos to him for doing that. I think Najee does bounce back, and I think it's all mainly based on Kenny Pickett not being able to have teams load that box up for Najee.
Fantasy's never really been like this. There's so many solid running backs.
Yes.
I mean, the list goes on for sure.
Yes.
I mean, normally you have to take your running back first and second round, in my opinion.
Yep. I've always been running back first round, wide receiver second round type guy, or vice versa, wide receiver first round, running back second round. Kind of depends on where you're picking. If you're top 3, it makes it kind of hard because you can get one of the best wide receivers and one of the best running backs.
Yeah, for sure.
With that said, we'll hop in running backs right now.
I mean, receivers.
Yeah, receivers. We're hopping in receivers. We're done with running backs.
Number 1's pretty easy.
Yep.
I mean, he'd be hitting the gritty every week. And we're not talking about Jamar Chase. We are talking about Justin Jefferson. That guy is the best receiver in the league.
Yep.
He's got Captain Kirk Cousins throwing him the ball, and he's going to go out there and give you 100 each week. I think Kevin O'Connell really expanded that offense. I mean, losing Dalvin Cook, I still think Alexander Madison's going to have a huge year for them.
Big time.
I mean, I think bringing in...
That's a sleeper there, people.
Yeah, exactly.
Sleeper there, people.
Sleeper.
Alexander Madison. Don't sleep on that guy. He's going to do good.
I don't think losing Adam Thielen's going to hurt him too much.
No, because they go get Addison.
They go get Jordan Addison.
And... let's not sleep on KJ Osborne.
KJ Osborne's a guy.
I mean, that guy is a guy out there. He really is. He's probably a little unknown. Another sleeper, maybe in the 12th round there, people. God, we're helping you guys out right now.
I mean, the Vikings have a really... you could go with any of those 3 receivers. I mean, I think you could play Addison or KJ Osborne in the flex. But if you have the first overall pick and you don't go Justin Jefferson or like a Christian McCaffrey type guy, I don't know what you're doing. I mean, Justin Jefferson is that guy. I mean, you'll be at home hitting the gritty in the living room after you watch him score 3 touchdowns a week.
Speaking of Justin Jefferson, think he breaks the record? Think he goes for 2K this year? Passes Calvin Johnson?
If there's one guy in the league that's going to do it, it's going to be Justin Jefferson. I mean...
especially this year with Addison being a rookie
and
not really being that predominant of a player yet.
He's going to get doubled.
It don't matter.
at the end of the day, he's
I
Justin
mean,
Jefferson.
my man's going up
Yep.
one hand just like he did against Buffalo.
And then he's going gritty all over you.
Yep.
I mean,
So-
Jair Alexander needs to quit that, trying to gritty on my boy Jay Jettas.
Yes.
Because that man is going to go out there, and I bet you that the Vikings beat the Packers both times
Yeah,
this year.
they're sweeping them. I'm calling sweep on that. And you know, they might sweep everybody but Detroit.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
I definitely see that happening. Number 2, his running mate, his college mate.
The starter.
The number 1 in college, Jamar Chase.
Yep.
I mean, he gets linked up with Joe Burrow. That's the perfect situation for both of them.
Can't double him.
Can't double him because you got T. Higgins on the other side.
Boyd in the slot.
Boyd in the slot. If Jamar Chase doesn't get hurt last year, he puts up more fantasy points than Justin Jefferson, and I think this conversation could be a little bit different.
For sure.
I mean, he was the number 1 in college. He still could be the number 1 if they were still in college with what they've done so far in the NFL. I think me and Levi have talked about this. I think Jamar Chase is just a little bit bulkier than Justin Jefferson, but they're both so good. I mean, you can literally pick either one of them.
I think Chase is a little bit better after the catch.
Yep.
But I don't think he gets
He don't make
open.
that separation
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
no,
What
not
Justin
at all.
Jefferson did to Stephon Gilmore last
my.
year
on
that route was so disrespectful. I watched it 3 times.
I watched it 5 times.
Exactly.
That was disrespectful.
Yeah, and he
man.
pointed at him and
Yeah.
going into the end zone.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's great. I love
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, he's that guy.
I love Jamar Chase too.
He's that guy.
They're both hitting the gritty out there. You draft either one of them, you
You're
better
good.
be hitting the gritty in your living room.
Like, for sure. Number 3, Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
I mean, he's got Tua.
Mhm.
That's the only question, I think. If
Yep.
Tua's healthy all year, I could even have Tyreek at 2. I mean, I'm not going to put him over Justin Jefferson.
No.
But, I mean, I do think he can. I mean, if you're in a league with 100-yard bonuses,
Yep.
he's going to get that.
Yep,
And it might be
easily.
in 2 plays
Yep.
at the end of the day. He's going to have long touchdowns.
Mhm.
He's going to get the ball. He's going to get reverses, too. He's going to get
Yep.
some rushing yards.
McDaniel's gonna get him the ball.
So, at the end of the day, Tyreek Hill is going to get the ball each week.
Yeah, I mean, the guy had 1,700 yards last year. I mean, him and Justin Jefferson were kind of going back to back for the most yards as a receiver last year. And like you said, he can take a 10-yard route into 35.
Oh, for sure.
Just like that. I mean, and you know, he's looking for fumbles out there. He's picking up fumbles for
Running
touchdowns
for
too.
touchdowns.
So, I mean, Tyreek Hill, the guy is a talent that the NFL really hasn't seen, the way he can use his speed and get open, and he's got good hands too.
Oh,
I mean,
for
normally
sure.
you have those
People
fast
sleep on his
guys
hands.
that can't really catch, but they're burners. But I mean, that guy can do it all. I mean, I'm really big on Tyreek Hill being a Dolphins guy. Trade the draft picks away. I don't care. Go get me Tyreek Hill. Go get me Jalen Ramsey, and let's build something out there in South Beach.
For sure. Number 4.
Before
this guy gets hurt,
Before this guy gets hurt,
he was going dumb.
Cooper Kupp. I mean, he carried me in a fantasy league. He carried me to a title, and you can't say much more about the guy. I mean, the guy doesn't get hurt. Who knows what he does last year?
Exactly.
I mean, he finds a way to get open. He's not the fastest out there, but his routes and his technique and the way he is in and out of his breaks, it's extraordinary to watch. I mean, it's great stuff to watch. Huge on Cooper Kupp. I mean, can't much say more about the guy. I mean, I really like Cooper Kupp. Levi knows how much I talk about Cooper Kupp. That's just that guy. I mean, you can hear Coop all day. So he's going to be getting catches. He's going to be getting yards.
he got his blue gloves on. He's going to go out there. He's going to produce each week.
Yep, each week.
Cooper Kupp, definitely that guy.
Yep.
Number 5. I mean, this is a big one if he's there. Stephon Diggs, if he's in Buffalo, I think I might have him a little higher on this list. I mean, Stephon Diggs is going to go score the ball. He's going to go complain on the sideline that he needs more touches, even if he touches it 14 times.
He does.
He doesn't care. He wants the ball every single play, no matter how many people are guarding him. So Stephon Diggs is going to get targets, he's going to get catches, and he's going to score you fantasy points.
And you know, the only thing that I think kind of holds Buffalo back, being a Dolphins fan and watching them, they don't really have a running game.
They don't have a running game. I mean, James Cook might take a leap.
I think he does. I think he does help them out, taking that leap. That's their number 1 back this year.
But he's going to be going against Jalen Ramsey 2 times a year. I mean,
2 times a year, or Xavier Howard. But, you know, Xavier Howard has kind of lost those battles against Stephon Diggs, but a lot of the time they're putting him on the opposite side, and he was torching Nick Needham or somebody like that out there.
So,
But, yeah, Stephon Diggs is so good. I mean, he's an elite wide receiver. I mean, all these guys are.
For
I
sure.
mean, let's be real. These guys are the best in the league. They're the best at their craft. They take care of their bodies. I mean, they're all great.
speaking of the Stephon Diggs Buffalo trade, I think that's one of the most fair trades in NFL history.
Yeah, you get
Jay Jettas, they get Diggs. Cool.
Evened out,
Yeah.
worked out. They got the headache out of the building, and they brought the gritty in.
So I think that's like the most fair trade I've seen.
Yeah, nobody
I mean,
lost that.
People be shipping stuff out for 3rd-round picks nowadays.
Yeah, let me look what Amari Cooper went for.
And all you Eagles fans, you could have had Jettas, but you drafted Jalen Reagor.
Yeah. They're lucky they went and got A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, they are lucky they went and got A.J. Brown. Big time. Number 6, Davante Adams. I mean, if he's still with that guy in Green Bay, he's probably number 1, number 2 on the list. I mean,
he can have the JV quarterback out there throwing him the ball, and he's still going to go get it.
He's still going to go produce. I'm really. It's hard because we don't know who's throwing him the ball, so it's really hard to say a whole lot of Davante Adams besides him knowing he's going to put up his points on his end. But I don't know how everything is going to work out with him in Las Vegas. I mean, you can maybe see him getting traded in the year or so.
Yeah, I could definitely see him wanting out, even halfway through the year.
Yeah, I mean, I really could.
Number 7, this is a big guy for you, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yep.
I mean, Detroit, with J-Mo coming back after his suspension, I feel like it's going to open him up a little more.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, I mean, I feel like the first couple weeks might be a little bit rocky. He's going to be doubled. He's going to have to work through the double. I feel like he's had to deal with it a little bit.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to always have that chip in his shoulder, and he's always going to go score.
Yeah, and I think that chip on his shoulder comes down from the head coach Dan Campbell.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he really makes them work. He really grinds it out just as much as they do. Miami had him as an interim head coach. We let him go years ago. Thanks a lot, because we haven't had a good head coach until now.
Yep.
So I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, he ain't the biggest out there either. I mean, he works to get everything that he's got. I mean, big Amon-Ra guy. I've talked about him already. I don't got to keep talking about him.
Number 8,
big guy here.
Offensive Player of the Year?
Offensive Player of the Year. My Offensive Player of the Year, Garrett Wilson. I think you add Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson. I mean, you saw what Garrett Wilson did when Joe Flacco stepped in for the Jets last year. And I think Garrett Wilson has a huge year. I think everybody's kind of predicting it, but I don't think it's just out of no reason. I think he is going to have a big year. He was one of the best wide receivers at Ohio State when they had JSN, Chris Olave, and Garrett Wilson. And we saw him live. We saw him go up, make a catch over against Clemson, pretty much mossed the dude. Corner of the end zone. Wasn't the end zone, but close enough.
Barely got his foot in.
Great catch. I think Garrett Wilson goes dumb this year. I think he kind of takes that role of Davante Adams.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like he becomes. I mean, Aaron Rodgers did say he thinks they could be the best receiver and corner in the league at one point, and he's saying Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. I think Garrett Wilson isn't going to have no sophomore slump. I think he's going to have a sophomore leap.
Yep.
And I think he's going to go out there each and every week, and I think he's going to have a bunch of 100-yard receiving games this year.
Yeah, I think he's going to break out. I think he's definitely going to break out this year.
Number 9.
I
think Brandon Cooks helps this guy a lot, but C.D. Lamb.
Yep.
C.D. Lamb is going to not have to be doubled each and every play no more.
Nope.
I mean, I think Brandon Cooks really going to open him up. New offensive coordinator. I think Dak might take another step this year. I think C.D. Lamb is just get him the ball, he's going to produce.
Yeah, and the only other one that really got a battle is getting touchdowns with is going to be Michael Gallup.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, Dak does like to throw it up to Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup does make some of them pretty good catches, but CeeDee Lamb was that guy at Oklahoma. He's came into the league. He's still been that guy. That's why they shipped out Amari Cooper, which I don't really agree with. But CeeDee Lamb's, he's him. I mean, he really is. He's going to go out there and he's going to produce 100%.
Yeah, for sure. CeeDee Lamb's really good.
Number 10, A.J. Brown. We talked about him a little bit ago. Philly has so many weapons, though, so it's really hard to pick who's going to be that guy that week. But I feel like A.J. Brown's a must-start every single week. And he had his revenge game against Tennessee last year.
Yes, he
went dumb.
Yep.
Tennessee's GM gets fired. So A.J. Brown, he's so good also.
For all you GMs out there, don't trade away guys like A.J. Brown.
No, and you know what's crazy is, how was Ole Miss not better?
Yeah, I don't know. DK,
A.J. Brown.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, what were you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. Honorable mention. I mean, I feel like you got to say it. You got him on your hat.
I mean, you'll be seeing me waddling around in my living room this year when Waddle's scoring them touchdowns. He could be the number 1. I mean, he really could make that leap.
He could flop with Tyreek. He could be up there at 3 type guy.
Yep.
I mean, it's hard having to draft one of those two because you don't know who it's going to be that week.
Nope.
Yeah, they both might go for 100.
Yeah.
But one might have 150. One might have 40. I mean, at the end of the day, it's who's going to want to get doubled. Waddle and Tyreek are both going to have big years, so it's hard to hit or miss on those.
Yep. And like I said, I will be waddling around my living room. That's the best touchdown dance I've seen in a long time.
It's almost better than the gritty.
Yeah, I mean, he's hitting his own name out there. He's hitting his own name out there. That's great stuff. Great stuff. But yeah, I think There could be some other more honorable mentions out there,
For
but
sure.
I think that's a solid top 10. You guys can really take any one of those guys and definitely help your fantasy team out for sure.
I mean, tight ends, what do we have, 5?
We had 5.
I mean, tight
5
ends
with the honorable
tough.
mention. Tight end's tough.
I
I'm
mean-
not big on tight ends besides probably one guy, but I'm not drafting him in the first or second round.
Only guy I'd ever taken the first round is Travis Kelce if
I'm
I'm
not.
at 12.
Yeah, and I'm still probably not.
I'm probably not going to. I
No.
mean,
And it's so hard to
it's
say because if you break down the stats of points, Travis Kelce is in the top 3 of wide receivers based off of points as a tight end.
Yep.
Which is ridiculous, but I
They
mean,
just need to let him play receiver in
Yeah.
fantasy leagues at this
Honestly.
point. I mean, yeah, Kelsey's one. I mean, there's no conversation there.
No, Kelce's
he's
one.
Mahomes' guy.
Yep.
He runs routes like a receiver.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he runs like he's drunk. So,
Yeah. He could be at the end of the day the best tight end ever, honestly.
For sure.
The way he's going right now.
For sure.
Number 2 is pretty easy. Mark Andrews. I
Yep.
think he gets Lamar back. He kind of has a big year.
Can't get double as much.
Can't get double as much. He's got OBJ out there, Zay Flowers out there, and they
Yep.
still got Rashad Bateman.
Number 3, George Kittle.
George Kittle.
I mean, yeah, he was banged up last year.
Mhm.
I mean, he came back, had a couple huge games. So, I mean, if George Kittle is out there late in your rounds, definitely a guy you could look at. He's definitely someone you're not going to have to worry about each week.
Nope.
He's going to get his targets. He's going to score touchdowns. He's going to be George Kittle.
Yep, I love George Kittle. I just love what he does on the field, off the
He
field.
blocks.
He blocks. He's just having a great time out there.
Yep.
Never upset.
Never.
Just playing football with his boys. I
Yep.
love it. I love it. Number 4, Kyle Pitts. I mean, it's so hard to not have Kyle Pitts up there. I mean, he's a freak. I mean, if you look at his size and everything like that, just Atlanta should just use him as a wide receiver and just throw him the ball 12 times a game.
I mean, watching some of the stuff he's done out there, he's had some crazy one-hand catches in stride. He did some astronomical things. I think this year he's finally going to take that leap. I think him and Drake London are going to be like a receiver 1, receiver 2 type deal. I think Bijan Robinson is going to be out there in the backfield. They might even throw Cordell Patterson in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kyle Pitts has his revengeful year. He shows people why he was the 4th overall pick.
Yep.
And I think he goes out there and he gets it done.
Yeah, I mean, it's him and Drake London. Those are the 1-2 there.
1-2 punch.
I mean, Drake London, you could say is the number 1 wide receiver, but you could honestly say that about Kyle Pitts because he's pretty much a wide receiver anyways.
Yep.
Number 5, TJ Hawkinson. I think a whole year in that Vikings scheme, that whole offense, I think he did pretty good when he got traded there, not
for
going to
sure.
lie.
No, definitely.
So I think he still goes out, produces.
He's not going to be doubled
He's not
because
going to be doubled.
Gritty Man's going to be getting
gonna
those.
be there, so you got to worry about that.
Yep.
Tight ends is kind of hard to really pick a whole lot of. So, I mean,
Tight end's tough.
tight end's tough.
I don't
Hawk's
like
gonna
taking
do
him
his
till
thing.
late.
I don't like taking him till late either. You want to go to honorable mention?
Honorable mention, I feel like you could say it.
Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
I think Evan Ingram did really good last year at the end of the year. I think Doug Peterson likes to use his tight ends in his offense, but he just signed his son. So I don't know if his son's going to come in and take some reps from...
This the NFL. It ain't
I know, I'm
happening,
just kidding. Evan Ingram's so good, though. I mean, he was another first-round pick. The Giants let go. I don't know what they're doing up there because they literally have no one that really has been a good wide receiver since Odell.
I don't know what they're doing, bro. They have Kenny Galladay getting paid the big bucks.
Yeah, and they don't even use him.
Yep.
I don't get it. We ain't talking kickers or defense because the way I pick my defense, I look at the worst team week 1, and I try to pick that defense for a couple weeks. So whoever the Cardinals play week 1, that'll be my defense for that week. So even though they're right behind me, we've got Patrick Peterson right behind me, but even with that autograph right there, pick whoever's playing them.
Oh, for sure. I mean, defense and kickers. I mean, kickers.
Kickers,
They can put up 12.
I can say my strategy on kickers. I ain't afraid.
Yeah, if they kick it in a dome,
I'm picking a dome kicker. I mean, no
No
weather,
wind.
no wind. That's 8 games, 7 games out of the season.
and who knows? They might play an away team with a dome. That's at least maybe 10 to 12 games with
Yep.
their inside.
So I mean, you can get the Texans kicker, the Colts kicker. There's solid 8-9 games of them kicking with no weather.
Young Oku's going to kick some field goals this year.
That's one guy right there.
So,
I mean,
end of the day, I feel like we had some good advice for some fantasy.
I mean, I ain't gonna dive into all the sleepers. I mean, I still gotta get my guys without some other people getting my guys in some leagues, you know.
Exactly.
So, thanks for tuning in.
This is the
VanDyke
VanDyke
Show.
Show. Catch you next week. Big episode
Big
next
episode
week.
next week.
So,
Don't tune
don't
out.
sleep.
Don't sleep.
Don't
Big
sleep
episode
next
next week.
Have a good one.